morning, everybody. It is really cool. I think I don't think we got a little bit of rain last night, but this coming week it's supposed to be kind of stormy. But it's beautiful out, and I wish I had nothing to do but just work out in the garden because there's a lot to do. And I would love for you guys in your comment section below to tell me what you're doing and maybe what you're not doing this year, because I have found that this year, because I'm so busy and because the weather has been so wacky, that there are some things I am not doing. And one thing I am not going to do during this walkabout is lots of close-ups. If my camera work looks a little bit wonky, Stuart is actually on another shoot that I'm getting ready to go to. But if my camera work looks a little wonky, it's because I threw out my back a couple of days ago and I am not bending very well. I asked in the community tab if you guys stretch before you work out in the garden, and typically I do, but I tell you what gets me, it's not the working out in the garden part or the lifting stuff or the digging. When I tend to hurt my back is when I am in front of the computer for long periods of time and then I go outside and I do something stupid. Because I am like you probably. I have a gardening body that wants to be up and moving and get all my juices going. And when I am stationary for a long period of time, that's when I have back issues. And if any of you have those same kinds of problems from shifting from one kind of a task to another, please let me know. And what you do to kind of mitigate those issues. This hanging basket is looking really gorgeous, I think. And you can see that pretty soon the basket itself will be pretty much completely camouflaged. It loves this cool weather. And you may notice there's a lot more color in the garden than there normally is. Let me show you this over here. This is a little Henry sweet spire that has sweet blooms, and it bloomed a little bit more heavily this year, probably because it got more light. And it seemed like it wasn't doing anything for a while, and then suddenly it just exploded in these pretty white blooms. And sadly, I feel like I haven't appreciated them enough. But I'm gonna try to remedy that this week. And there is, you can see, one of the things that's driving me a bit crazy is that I've got projects everywhere and I haven't been able to complete them for a number of reasons. The hydrangeas I finally cut back the canes on the hydrangeas that I could tell were not going to bud out. And you can see over here, let me zoom in a little bit, all of the big buds coming out on Annabelle. And there's another variety next to it that I really can't remember. It was an unnamed variety when I planted it, and I think it's got some big buds on it too. And you can see in the background by that old redbud tree that all of those Nandina are starting to finally come out. I have really missed them as a backdrop. And the geraniums love this cool weather. So I am happy about that. And I'm embarrassed to say that I have not finished this space over here, but I'm going to, and I promise to show you the after. But look at this. This is just the difference in raising that canopy made and how much nicer and neater it looks. So I'm anxious to get to this area, but I'm gonna have to wait on my back for a little bit longer. I don't want to add insult to injury, as it were. But when I plant the window box and everything, of course I will share that with you. Again, I know it's frustrating when I don't show you the immediate after, but that's the shakes when you actually do the work yourself. I don't have anybody really helping me with that type of thing. And I tend to be fairly fastidious and particular about how it's done. And so from a design perspective, I have a hard time delegating. And you guys probably do too. Now, coming up shortly, I'm going to be doing, for this weekend, I'm going to be doing a QVC tour of all of the different QVC products. I'm going to be on May 20th at 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. That's a Thursday. And that's when you will be able to buy these things for the first time. And pretty soon you'll be able to get them on qvc.com. So that's one of the things I've been working frantically on. That and my book. I've got a book deadline due. So it's been busy. And happily I've been planning, or I haven't been, my good friends have been planning wedding showers and wedding events for my kids. For my younger son in Denver, they're getting married at the end of July. Look at all those big blooms on that viburnum and how it blows so gently in the breeze. The birds also seem to be very happy. Now in the distance you can see some blue, and those are some iris, some Siberian iris that are blooming better this year. My friend Emily at 11 Gables was talking about how well her peonies did this year because they appreciated the cold. The rose just did nada, and it needs to be cut back completely and just start all over. It's very vigorous, but boy, it got hit hard. And this is the first time I haven't had any blooms on it. You can see some more iris there. I've got pots everywhere. I can't wait to have all of this done and staged so that it looks the way I want it to look, and not just with projects and things toppled over and mayhem everywhere. I had mayhem in the front and I've got mayhem in the back. You can see lots of big buds on. That is an Incredible, I think, in blush. And all of these guys are white wedding hydrangeas. You may recall from previous videos, those are all white weddings in the back. And you may recall that I had those in pots, and now I've put them in the ground. And I just realized in my hurry to get out here and do this that I did not put on my mic. So hopefully you can still hear me. That Gertrude Jekyll was about the only rose that bloomed this year. So far anyway. You guys really loved the Wagilla that was in my last post, and it has just been spectacular. I love it. And there's those Siberian iris. I've moved a few things around. My one remaining Green Mountain topiary I moved back here. The other two sadly did not make it. Moved my huge big heavy pot of begonias back here. There's another little noisette rose in the distance. There's so much upkeep that needs to be done here. But I am writing a chapter now on how gardens need to be flexible and adapt. And I think that needs to be said of the gardener as well. And I'm trying to just be patient and enjoy what it looks like in its state of what to me is imperfection. Beautiful but imperfect, and that's okay. I shouldn't be such a control freak when it comes to my garden. But I know many of you are as well. So let's just savor the beauty in its imperfection, shall we? I did get that rosemary potted up in one of my new planters, and someone commented that they look shiny and new and they don't look expensive. Well, let me tell you that I don't think any pot that's new, whether it's expensive concrete, expensive terracotta, I don't think any pot looks good when it's new. I think they all kind of look cheap when they're new because it's that patina of moss and muck and dirt and being loved and used over time that makes it look valuable to me. So believe me, I will be mucking up the pots in my own collection to make them look older and fit in with my English garden aesthetic. And speaking of patience, I'm being very patient. You can see how lots of sections of the boxwood have grown out, but still others have yet to grow out. And I'm going to wait until it is completely green and fluffy in its entirety before I prune it. It's the first time I've ever done that, but I'm going to do that this year because it deserves it after the winter that it went through. Now the poppies this year were something of a disappointment, which kind of surprised me, but boy, the alliums really like it. They really like that cold winter. And it turned, you know, it was really early to be warm, and now we've had this real cold spell. That basket hanging on the birdhouse is one in my collection. And again, I'll do a little tour for you guys. Thank you so much for always telling me what's going on in your gardens and sharing your tips and your secrets and what things are special to you. There's my first nasturtium. And I love the way, please continue to answer questions that other people pose here, especially if you are in their zone and you've got an answer to some kind of issue that they're having. What I love about this channel is I do think there's a sense of community here. I really feel like you guys have my back, and I try to be as responsive to your comments as I can. And I love that. It's a really kind, talented, caring group of people we've got here. So there you go. There is my walkabout for this Wednesday without Stuart. Just me, my bad back, and the birds. But I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day.